Alright, so this is a continuation of that first part of your notes. So now we're going to factor out a monomial. And so what that means is to take out a GCF on the outside and then figure out what was left in the parentheses. So you could have two terms in here, you could have three terms, but basically you're pulling out a GCF of what they have in common. Okay, so let's try that. It's going to say factor out a monomial, or it'll say factor something. And so first off, you have to find the GCF. Okay, so step one is to find the GCF. So I can break down 4 into 2 times 2. I can break down 24 into 6 times 4, which is 3 times 2 and 2 times 2. And then I know 8 can be 4 times 2, and then 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, let's not forget about our x's. Remember, out of an x5, x3, and 1x, you're going to take the smallest out. Okay, so we would only take out 1x for our GCF. And then let's see what they have in common. We've got 2 2's, 2 2's, and 2 2's. So 2 times 2 would be a 4. So 4 is going to be your GCF. Okay? So once you have found your GCF, now what you have to do is put it on the outside. So 4x. Okay? So now we're going to have parentheses to represent these three terms up here. So I know there's 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to go ahead and put 3 blanks in here, because there are going to be 3 terms in your parentheses. Okay? So now you're going to do the backwards distributive property to figure out what was left in here. And to do that, you're going to divide the original by the GCF. So we're going to say divide original numbers by your GCF. Okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this original number of a 4 and divide it by 4, and 4 divided by 4 is a 1. Okay? After you divide your numbers, you have to subtract your exponents. Okay? Because remember, we're working backwards. So if I had 5 x's up here, and I took 1 away, I would do 5, take away 1 to get x to the 4th on the inside. Okay, so my first term is done. So I'm going to hop over to this term and do negative 24 divided by 4. And so 24 divided by 4 is a negative 6. Okay, and then I'm going to look at my exponents. I had 3 up here, and I took 1 away, so there would be 2 inside. And then same thing with this last term. 8 divided by 4 is a 2, positive. And then x, I had 1 up here, and I took it away, so there isn't an x on that value in there, okay? And so this would be our answer. We would say 4x, we could just leave that as x to the 4th minus 6x squared plus 2. So this is the factored form of that polynomial. Okay, so we're working backwards from the distributive property. Now if you want to check your work to make sure you're right, you can multiply it out. So what we would do, alright, so if I were to multiply that out to check my work, I would get 4x to the 5th, because I add my exponents when I multiply. I would get negative 24, and I had 3 x's. And then I would do 8, and then there was just 1x. Okay? So I know I'm right because when I multiplied it out, I got exactly what I had up here. Okay? So again, we want this answer here in green. Okay? So you do not have to show your checking it for all of them. That's just if you wanted to make sure you're 100% right. But this is how you factor out a monomial. Okay? So let's try some other examples. Okay, here are 2 examples. So again, the first thing is to find your GCF. So the smallest number is a 2, and I know that's only 2 times 1. So let's check to see if my smallest number of a 2 can go into all of these. So does 2 go into 14? Yes. Does 2 go into 8? Yes. So my GCF is going to be a 2. And then you're going to take your smallest x's, so out of a 3, a 2, and a 1, just a 1 is the smallest. Okay? So once you have your GCF, you're going to write your parentheses with how many terms you had up there. So I had 3. And now I'm going to divide to see what was remaining in the middle. So again, divide your numbers. So do 14 divided by 2 and get 7. You're going to do negative 2 divided by 2. Oh, sorry, I skipped ahead. You're going to do x3 and then take away 1x. So you would have x squared remaining with that 7 term. Okay? So now we can move on to this one and do negative 2 divided by 2 to get negative 1. And then there were 2 x's up here, and you took 1 away. So there's just 1x. And then over here, 8 divided by 2 is a 4. And then you had 1 x up here, but you took it away, so there is no x remaining in there. And then we're done. Okay? So again, you're going to divide your numbers by the GCF to get that term. Okay? All right. Let's take a look at this problem over here. Again, I have a 5, a 20, and a 15, so let me check if my smallest number of a 5 goes into those two numbers. So I know 5 goes into 20, and I know 5 goes into 15, so I know my GCF is a 5. Okay? Out of k cubed, k squared, and no k's, I cannot take a k away. So since this 15 was a number by itself that did not have a k, they did not have a k in common. Okay? So your GCF is just a 5, no letters. So we're going to write 5 on the outside with however many terms on the inside. And then I'm going to divide to find those numbers. So again, 5 divided by 5 is a 1. And then since I didn't take out any k's, I'm just going to drop down k cubed on the inside. Okay? And then I'm going to do 20 divided by 5 to get 4. And again, I did not take any k's away on the outside, so the k's just drop down. Lastly, negative 15 divided by 5 is a negative 3. And there were no k's on that, so I do not have to drop anything down. Okay? So that's how you factor out a monomial. So why don't you try these last two on your own and press pause, and then we will go over them. On this first one, I did 7 times 2, and then I had 3 n's. Again, 7 times 5 and got 2 n's, and then 7 times 2 times 2. I saw they had a 7 in common, so I put 7 on the outside. I could not take any n's away because this one did not have any. Okay, so my GCF was just a 7. So then I just divided 14 divided by 7 to get 2. And again, if I didn't take any n's away, then that means that n to the third power is just going to come back down. Again, negative 35 divided by 7 is negative 5. Again, bring down your n squared. And then 28 divided by 7 was just a positive 4. Okay, so that would be your factored answer. And then the second one was a little confusing because there was a 1 right here. And anytime you have a 1, everything, or obviously 1 can go into all of these numbers. So that's your greatest common factor. And then out of G4, G3, G2, and 1G, I can only take away 1G. So my GCF was a 1G. And then I went, again, dividing. So 1 divided by 1 was a 1. If I had 4 G's and I took 1 away, there would be 3 left here. Again, 24 divided by 1 is 24. G3, take away 1 is G2. And then again, G2, take away is 1G. And then if I had a G and then I took it away, there was no G's with this term. So notice the numbers are all the same because there was just a 1 on the outside. And it's like I subtracted a G from all of those in the middle. Okay, so again, you don't have to write that 1. You could just have G on the outside and G3 here as your final answer, but it's up to you how you would like to write it. Okay, so now you know how to factor out a monomial. So now you can work on AA2 on IXL for some practice. Okay, thanks for watching.